Come on, give me a hand, will you, Ethel?
What's the matter? Can't you handle it by yourself?
No, I can't handle it by myself. We go forward.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
She truly despised William Frawley. Now we finally know why. I used to think their fights were the best part of the show, like perfectly written, perfectly timed. Now I'm not so sure they were written at all. Because the truth is, some of it was real. And once you know that, you watch everything differently. Let me take you out of the spotlight for a second. Forget the laughter. Forget the audience. Imagine the quiet moments in between takes. There's Vivian Vance, focused, professional, but clearly holding something back. And across from her, William Frawley. Not smiling, not warm, just tension. And what surprised me most is that this wasn't something that developed over time. It was there early, almost from the beginning. And oddly enough, it started with something very simple. She didn't believe in the pairing. Hindi mo not personally, not professionally. He was in his mid-60s. She was in her early 40s. And in her mind, audiences wouldn't buy them as a married couple. Now that might sound like an actor thinking about realism. But here's the problem. She said it, out loud, called him that old man. And once that reached him, that was it. Because Frawley wasn't the kind of person to ignore something like that. He had a reputation, sharp, blunt, not exactly easygoing. So he responded, and not kindly. He took shots at her, her appearance, her talent, anything he could use. And just like that, things turned personal. Not playful tension, real resentment. What I didn't expect, though, is how much that actually helped them on screen. Because when you watch I Love Lucy, Fred and Ethel feel real, not overly sweet, not forced, just real. Yet the irritation, the sarcasm, the constant back and forth, it works because it feels real, and now we know it was. They didn't have to dig for those emotions. They were already there. But here's what I respect. They never let it ruin the work. No matter how bad things got behind the scenes, when the cameras rolled, they delivered. Every single time. That kind of professionalism, you don't see it often. But the tension didn't go away. If anything, it stayed just under the surface the entire time. And there's another layer here that makes everything more complicated. Because this wasn't just any show. This was I Love Lucy, with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz leading one of the biggest shows in television history. And in the middle of all that success, Vance felt stuck. She didn't want to just be remembered as Ethel. But that's exactly what was happening. People didn't see her. They saw the character. And I think that frustration built up over time. Maybe it made everything feel heavier, even her relationship with him. Meanwhile, Frawley had his own struggles. A reputation for being difficult. A long history with alcohol. Not exactly someone trying to smooth things over. So you've got two people, both dealing with personal challenges, both strong personalities, working side by side for years. That kind of tension doesn't just disappear. It stays. And when the show finally ended, there was a chance to continue. Just the two of them. A spin-off. Frawley wanted it. Vance didn't, at all. She refused completely. And that decision, it made things final. For him, it was another opportunity. For her, it felt like being trapped in something she was desperate to leave behind. And even years later, nothing really softened. And this part, it's a little uncomfortable. When William Frawley passed away in 1966, her reaction wasn't emotional. No public sadness, no reflection, just distance, which tells you how deep that resentment really went. But here's the part I keep coming back to. Despite all of it, they created something unforgettable. Fred and Ethel Mertz are still one of the most iconic duos in television history. Their timing, their energy, their chemistry, it still works. And maybe that's because it wasn't just acting. It was real. So the next time you watch them argue, roll their eyes, or throw those little jabs at each other, just remember, they weren't pretending as much as you think.